Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously. We're in the throes of the baseball championship series, the beginning of the NBA season, NFL almost half done, college almost half done as well, NBA pretty darn close, and we've got some major issues, and they deal with the business side. First of all, on the baseball side, kudos to the Cubs, by the way, starting the championship series. The ratings are up about 30%, meaning ad sales, $550,000 up slightly from last year. That's just a spot. And they're seeing interest from more categories than ever before. Interest from non-traditional players, retailers, and other brands. The rating's really a good story. The marketplace a little bit tight. But, by the way, in 1908, the TV ratings were a bit less than they are today. Wait. That's the last time the Cubs won. In 1908, there were no ratings of anything. Come to think of it, it feels like an eternity. The Cubs have put together perfectly led, impeccably coached, combining drama, grit, and a perfect storm and a storyline, both inside baseball and beyond. And we got hockey. And the hockey issue seems to be everybody starting the season well, and the favorites seem to be playing well and others not. But how about Vegas? The NHL expansion club will have an official team name, but nobody knows what it is until next month. Is it the Desert Knights, the Silver Knights, the Golden Knights? And the holdup now has to do with the team's color and owner Foley, his look and take on the jersey. T-Mobile Arena looks like it's a great place to play. And the 2 million people who are really family-oriented, they're the ones that the NHL seems to want to go after. And it's the no aces, no blackjacks, no 21s, and the NHL clearly appealing to those people in Vegas that are family-oriented rather than the gamblers. We've gone from no teams to maybe even 2 if the NHL is followed by the NFL. We have a show today dealing with entrepreneurialism and technology. Tim Hayden, Stadia Ventures, an incubator and accelerator for 500 startups. Adam Shaw, Pedro Duarte, a company that deals with expansion of digital traits all the way through the world. And as we know, millennials continue to control the message. Rick Horrow, sports professor, Beyond the Scoreboard. Be back in just a couple of minutes.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply, subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Sometimes what you want most from your car is nothing. No headaches, no surprises, no anxiety when it's late at night and you're on some distant freeway in a thunderstorm. Owning a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz can be that anxiety-free experience on every level. You know you're in one of the safest and most thoughtfully engineered vehicles on the road. And with an unlimited mileage warranty, you can drive as far as you want for up to 3 years, with roadside assistance included. Your sense of confidence and adventure are as unlimited as the warranty itself. Now you can drive the car of your dreams and realize that nothing is everything. And during the certified pre-owned sales event, now through August 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and 0.99% APR financing on select models, available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties. APR offer available only to qualified customers. Call 1-800-FOR-Mercedes for details about costs and terms.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously. We talk about football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, and the bottom line is there are a series of startup companies that want to get into the trillion-dollar business of sports, home and abroad. Tim Hayden, the managing director of Stadia Ventures, an accelerator incubator, takes money and tries to channel it into a productive way to grow business. 500 startups, in addition to his role as senior adjunct professor at the St. Louis University. He clearly talks about the business of sports, what it's like to succeed, how you make money in the business. People interested in all that ought to listen to Tim Hayden. Here he is now.
It's Beyond the Boardroom for discussions about all aspects of the trillion-dollar sports business. Used to be $1 billion, maybe 50 years ago. Now we came up with numbers that say it's over $1 trillion, and our guest can kind of validate some of that. He's an academic as well as an entrepreneur. Tim Hayden, the managing director of Stadia Ventures, also involved in the academic program at St. Louis, and a lot of other entrepreneurial things, stadiums, facilities. Your bio is magnificent. How are you, Tim?
I'm doing good. Rick, I truly appreciate you having me on. So I think my bio makes me sound taller than I probably really am.
Well, we don't know. We don't need to know how tall or short you are. We need to know what it says on paper. And by the way, what is it like at St. Louis University now? Is it you have a lot more time on your hands now that the Rams left town?
Actually, we keep looking for new ways to fill the void. And so, unfortunately, since there were so few fans going to the games anyway, it's actually kind of an easy way to fill. But to be honest, though, we're still friends with everybody over in L.A. side of things. So it's a very amicable side of things.
Easy for you to say now, my friend, but I'm not quite sure that really works long term. We do have a common person who's been interviewed and is a really good friend of ours and our networks and our shows, Rich Chaffetz, who is not only ComPsych, but obviously he is a big benefactor, and the arena happens to be named after him at University of St. Louis, right?
Great guy, great entrepreneur, and obviously great backer of St. Louis University athletics. So tremendous guy. Clearly.
All right, let's talk about you, first of all. Give us kind of an elevator speech about Stadia Ventures and what the deal is.
Sure. So it all kind of goes hand in hand. My partner is a gentleman named Art Chu, and he used to run all innovation for Rawlings for about 10 years. And before that, he ran innovation for Titleist for 7 years. My background is over a period of the last 12 years, I've either started or helped to start 7 different sports businesses. So everything from mobile app platforms for sports fans, so pre-MLB at bat, if you will, all the way through helping to launch a couple of professional soccer teams and a professional soccer league. So when we came together, our whole pain was that we know a bunch of entrepreneurs that are lacking the ability to get to the leaders within these bigger sports industry organizations. And the main reason is there's just too much clutter out there. There's a lot of stuff out there of trying to break through the ranks, and so for the good entrepreneurs, it becomes very difficult. And then with my partner on the opposite side, he's saying, hey, I'm waiting to see the best of the next innovation, the next thing that can help us transform a company. But again, cutting through that clutter. And then between the two of us, we knew of a bunch of investors that they love to invest in technology and real estate, construction, manufacturing, but their passion is really sports. So our concept was, how do we bring all of that together? How do we bring the best of each of those 3 worlds? And in our mind, how do we create a sports innovation hub and allow it to run more efficiently? And it's not that we need to own everything, but at least we could really be pulling the players together in all these different areas to truly help accelerate what we're seeing on the field, what we're seeing in the retail on the shelves, what we're actually seeing in technology with training and with the amateur athletics. And so that was the ultimate objective for it.
Well, and it's worked very well, obviously, and this is a business show. So let's talk a little bit about the business plan. That's the concept, and you've so far passed Sports Business 101, but then how do you get it funded? Yeah. What's the ROI look like? What's the return for investors? What's the business proposition?
And I love this. So what we ended up creating first was an accelerator. And for those that are not familiar with accelerators, think of it along the lines of an immersive business development boot camp for the best entrepreneurs that we can find. So we do an international search. We end up narrowing the field using judges, and the judges are always senior leaders in sports business that are our friends. We joke we've been in this industry long enough. Fortunately, we haven't pissed off very many people, so we have a lot of friends kind of helping us along this journey. And so our goal is twice a year we will pick the best 5 sports startups. They all are established startups, meaning that they already have a product or a service in market. They already have traction, and they already have revenue of anywhere from about $100,000 to $3 million a year in revenue. We will invest up to $100,000 into each of those 5 businesses, and then, as we say, we will drop them into an immersive business development boot camp. We'll surround them with mentors that can help truly move their needle on the biz dev side or organization side or other things, and then we will take them through a 12-week program. At the end of it is demo day, and they get up on stage in front of hundreds of investors and sports execs to kind of showcase their new or their unveiled new companies. And so each of those investments comes with an equity transaction. So therefore, we will own a piece of each of those companies. So it's in our vested interest to truly help them move the needle and help them move down their path.
What are the best 2 or 3 deals and return? I guess it's 2 questions. One is the best return on investment / business deals that you've made by taking equity in companies. And then I guess the next question, so you can separate them in your own mind, is what's been the most fun ones?
Oh, sure.
Those are 2 separate questions.
Exactly. And here's what's so funny. I'll answer the second question first because it's almost like when a parent says, well, I love all my children the best.
Yeah.
But in our case, each of these companies coming through are phenomenal. I mean, they are handpicked for us to help accelerate them. So I think when we talk fun, I mean, we're just in a fun industry to start with, but each of these companies are just amazingly cool, and obviously already running down the path of traction. So I'd almost end up saying it's hard for me to say which ones are the worst ones because they're all just awesome. On the front side of this thing, so we have companies, so this is our 3rd cohort. So a cohort is education parlance, it would be a semester. So we are currently into our 3rd cohort, and with that is we only have about 14 companies in our portfolio right now. And so they range. I mean, in this current cohort, we have Nix Biosensor, which is, think about it as a Band-Aid that will go on your skin, and it will evaluate your sweat. So not only will it tell you that you need to be hydrated or you're overhydrated or whatever, it will also measure what is in your sweat and let you know what you're missing at that moment. So do you need electrolytes and Gatorade? Do you need, so whatever that thing looks like. So it is an entrepreneur out of Harvard. She invented it out at Harvard. She is currently moving towards production right now. And so she has so much traction running with the likes of, Under Armour, Gatorade, and Powerade all love her technology. So companies such as that, all the way down to, and she is out of Boston, all the way down to Leaf Tech out of New York, which had a successful Kickstarter campaign for a motorized skateboard, longboard. But the beauty is he has a patented system underneath the skateboard to allow you to turn sideways and edge as if you're on a snowboard. And it all happens on asphalt. And so a successful Kickstarter campaign, we truly wanted to jump in because we could see how we could help them. We have a group out of Charlotte, North Carolina that created the Uber for boating. So 1%ers all have access to captains for fishing and personal yachts and things. Well, their service called Easy Waves provides the service to get any person on a boat with a certified captain within 3 hours. So they don't need to own it anymore. They can just get on it, enjoy the day, get off, and move on with their lives. So it's fascinating to see all these, but I think the biggest one, normally within an accelerator, you have a 5-year window before you see an exit. And we saw our first exit in our first 7 months. So there is a group out of Toronto called Winning Identity. If you turn on the Golf Channel, most of the stuff you see on there in the digital format is done by this group out of Toronto. We introduced them to a potential client. It turns around that the client loved them so much, they acquired the company 7 months after entering our accelerator. So that one, I think, is probably our best success to date.
Tim Hayden, a significant contributor to the world of sports and startup business, has a lot to say about how you make money at the startup stages of sports business. Hopefully it's worthwhile for everybody. Be back with Adam Shaw and Pedro Duarte in just a couple of minutes.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
$100 million in jury verdicts and settlements for serious injury victims, medical malpractice victims, and surviving family members of wrongful death victims. Trial Lawyers for Justice. This is a firm that does not handle frivolous lawsuits. They go after insurance company money, and they're darn good at it. They don't sell their clients out or settle cheaply. Trial Lawyers for Justice, the firm that goes the distance for you, their client. They treat their clients the way you would want your own family members taken care of. Nicholas Rowley, Dominic Pachota, and the other trial lawyers in the firm at Trial Lawyers for Justice, dedicated to representing the people and their families in Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Illinois, California, Wyoming, and many other states. Trial Lawyers for Justice. $100 million in settlements and jury verdicts already in 2016. 888-811-0844. TL4J.com. Trial Lawyers for Justice.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now, 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow with Beyond the Scoreboard. With the 2016-17 regular season only 2 weeks away, the NBA and Players Association have made significant progress toward a new CBA. And there's strong optimism among officials on both sides the deal could be finalized in the next several weeks. Both have until December 15 to exercise the opt-out clause of the current 10-year deal that was reached in 2011, but sources on both sides believe a new deal will be in place prior to that date. Sources said that during several months of discussions, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver and NBA Players Association Executive Director Michelle Roberts have agreed on many of the significant collective bargaining issues, adding that much of the remaining talks are centered upon smaller elements of the CBA. Expected changes in the CBA include a significantly higher rookie contract scale and two-way contracts between the NBA and NBA D-League that will add playing jobs for the union. The 2020 Olympics in Tokyo may be the first games to feature 3-on-3 basketball. Asia's growing fascination in the game has given FIBA fresh hope it can get the sport into the next Summer Olympics. If added to the slate of sports, it would not mark the first time 3-on-3 would be played in an official tournament. The small-sided basketball game has already been featured at the Asian Beach Games, Asian Indoor Games, and Asian Youth Games. It will be on show at the next Asian Games generally in 2018. It was also included at last year's inaugural European Games in Azerbaijan and significantly played at the first two Youth Olympics, which were both held in Asia. If added to the Olympics, 3-on-3 basketball would not supplant traditional 5-on-5, of course, but enhance it. A decision is expected to be made in June 2017 when the IOC decides what sports to add. The Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins signed a colorful new arena naming rights deal. The facility is set to be named PPG Paints Arena for the coming year, replacing Consol Energy as the Pens' title sponsor. No financial deals have been revealed, but it's 20 years, and Sports Corp estimated the deal could be worth $4 to $9 million a year. Consol Energy gave up the naming rights 6 years ago in a deal dated to run 21 years. The company will remain as a corporate sponsor under a restructured agreement that will run 14 years and cost less money. Consol reportedly lost in Q1 and Q2, noting that it struggled with low natural gas and coal prices across the industry. 4 or 5 other companies approached the Penguins to discuss a potential deal, but PPG Paints was the only one to make a firm offer and a serious commitment. I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow, and that's Beyond the Scoreboard. MLB postseason ad sales are big, up, increasing over last year, and many speculate the Cubs' success is playing a role in that upswing. According to Broadcast and Cable, ad sales on Fox up about 30%, with commercials going for the ballpark of 550,000, up slightly from last year. The Cubs just completed a regular season with the best record in baseball. With Fox holding the rights to this year's NLCS, it could prove a potent tonic and provide plenty of must-see baseball on the net. Experiential marketing firm Executive Vice President and Managing Director Michael Law said, "We're seeing interest from more categories than we ever have before. We're also seeking more interest from non-traditional players, retailers, and other brands. And it's because the ratings are really a good story and the marketplace is a little bit tight." Tim Hayden, the managing director of Stadia Ventures, an accelerator incubator, takes money and tries to channel it into a productive way to grow business, 500 startups. He clearly talks about the business of sports, what it's like to succeed, how you make money in the business. Here he is now.
This is the real deal. This is not for the faint of heart. Academic is great, but if you put a business plan together and it doesn't make any sense in the real world, this doesn't get you anywhere, and Tim Hayden is the guy that can drive the reality of this, so it's great that you're spending a few minutes with us. The whole idea of the tech industry, I guess if you were to say one thing more than anything, it's evolving, and where are the sweet spots for technological innovation, let's say, over the next 5 years? It's an impossible question to answer, but stay at 30,000 feet.
Sure. No. And our goal is we are holistic sports. So, I mean, we'll be looking at product all the way through service, all the way through technology. I think what's on our radar is going to be e-gaming. Definitely, towards the very top, and with the opportunity and the market potential for just that one category and what we're seeing internationally is a very big deal. The second one would be gaming, and obviously within the U.S. that becomes a little bit more a touchy subject, but internationally it's off the charts. One of the companies that came through our program last cohort is Behind the Picks. They will give you, they had developed an algorithm for the stock market, but it was too volatile, so they moved it over to sports, and they've actually been able to pick winners on a more accurate scale. They're actually showing it 78% average success. So your money that you would have put in about 5 years ago into the S&P, they would have actually tripled the S&P return on investment. So there's amazing technology and amazing things going on within the gaming portion side. Wearables, always going to be. Just because, with our friends over at Under Armour and our friends over at Wilson and Dick's Sporting Goods and things like that, we see a lot of great things happening within that wearable space. And then the other one's going to be augmented reality and virtual reality. I mean, truly, what we're seeing right now is, and again, we're lucky that we get a chance to see a lot of great new technologies that have not hit the true market yet. But what we're seeing and how the teams are using, like the San Francisco 49ers and how they're using virtual reality, the stuff that we tested out is fantastic. I mean, from all the way down to where you are immersed onto the field in a virtual world, but it looks real, using gloves that are tactile, so you can see through your goggles that there is a football, and when I grab it, I actually feel the resistance of that football with my hand, to then defensive coordinators plugging in new defensive schemes so that, it's almost like you're playing Madden, but yet you're actually on the field going up against a defensive lineman. So there's a lot of fascinating things that are coming down the pipe right now.
I'll tell you what, if the Niners could create a virtual reality system that might cause them to actually win 2 or 3 games, then you really have something going on.
Exactly. Yes.
That would be great. Yeah. This is incredibly intriguing from a business perspective as well, because you get ideas. I'm sure there is no shortage of ideas. We all in the industry, if we've been around long enough, will get the traditional calls of, you've got to take my idea and run with it, and people will take it personally when you don't have time, because they obviously, to them, it's the best idea in the history of the world. How do you create a process yourself where within 30 seconds you can decide in your own way kind of whether something merits the next step or not?
Now, Rick, that's an awesome question. So the beauty about my ties with St. Louis University, so at this moment we have the number 10th ranked entrepreneurship program in the world for undergrad and the number 14th ranked program for masters. Been teaching since 1973. So there are ways that we run the programs within SLU that allow you to fast track things. But with that being said, Guy Kawasaki used to be the chief evangelist for Apple, and he always ended up coming back talking about 3 pillars. You have to have pain, you have to have a solution, and you have to have somebody willing to pay for that pain to go away. So if you're missing any of those 3 components, and in a lot of cases your sniff test can be performed just off of that one, that one little equation. If you're missing any of them, you would just have a great idea, and there's millions of ideas out there, but it may not be a great business opportunity. And so in our case, where we get lucky is with our accelerator, we get to see a lot of the best that are established businesses. But we will never, ever tell anybody no as far as getting in touch with us, even if you just have a pure idea. Our whole goal for this hub was we want everybody on our radar, because there may be ways we can help you with your idea. But what the flip side is most people will never tell you that your baby is ugly, until you have skin in the game. You never tell anybody their baby's ugly. But in our case, we want to help them understand what the real dynamics are. So even though you think you have the next best thing, what is the industry really looking like? What is the actual path to success, where so many people think, hey, I should go pro? Well, in reality, pro may be the worst angle that you could take for your product. Maybe it is minor league, college, and amateur, because that's really where the money is and the business opportunities. So we try to disconnect the whole passion and your baby syndrome to what your true business is. But at the end of the day, we're Midwesterners, and we're not going to tell you it just sucks. We'll try helping you figure out how you can move it forward still.
Man, I love this concept, especially that there is no such thing as an ugly baby that you're going to turn away. That is an amazing idea for a sports entrepreneur. Final question. You have somebody that has an idea out there, and what's the one bit of advice you can give that person before he takes the next step?
I would say, and which is a great question because it helps. So when we put this hub together, the whole concept is we're pulling in graybeards. We're pulling together the older, more mature, more wise folks with experience together with newbies. And so find as many old graybeards as you can. And just ask them. Conduct informational interviews. Don't try selling right off the bat. Just try sitting down and understanding the dynamics of what they have going on, because it actually may allow you to pivot your own ideas to be more in line with what they have going. So I think the first thing is just get as much advice as you can, but then at the end of the day, and we talk about this all the time with our students and with our cohort members, is trust your gut. I mean, you're going to be the expert in this field for a specific reason, but trust your gut, because you may be getting advice, unspin the spin, but be able to hold true to what the tenets are of your business or your product or whatever else. But at the end of the day, talk with as many people as you can. Don't hold it too close to the vest. Most ideas are already out there, so if you're thinking somebody's going to steal it, well, you need to be able to trust those folks first, and you need to be able to get it out there to get the best advice you can.
What great advice. As a kind of a graybeard myself, I'm buying what you're selling.
Tim Hayden, a significant contributor to the world of sports and startup business, has a lot to say about how you make money at the startup stages of sports business. Hopefully it was worthwhile for everybody. Be back with Adam Shaw and Pedro Duarte in just a couple of minutes.
This is Shaquille O'Neal, here with 13-year-old Dylan.
Pleased to meet me.
What's that smell?
My body spray, dude.
A little strong, isn't it, bro?
You know it.
Whew. This is the perfect time for me to introduce new Gold Bond Men's Powder Spray. More than a scented body spray, it controls odor and wetness with a sophisticated scent. It really separates the men from the Dylans.
Hold up. Have my earbuds in. You say something?
Nope. Fellas, stay cool with Gold Bond.
Your own personal box office awaits you at TicketsAlways.com, across the street from historic Wrigley Field. Up the stairs to a stairway to heaven. The best seats at fair prices at box office tickets at TicketsAlways.com. Professional, user-friendly website at TicketsAlways.com. This truly could be the year for your Chicago Cubs. Have a great seat to perhaps watch baseball history unfold on the north side. A ticket agency on your side. Box office tickets. TicketsAlways.com.
Blood pressure tends to run higher during the day and lower during nighttime sleep. However, many with high blood pressure don't exhibit this nighttime dip, a condition called non-dipping. More in today's AARP health tip after this.
At Walgreens, getting diabetes testing supplies with Medicare Part B is a walk in the park. Really, because getting what you need is quick and easy, giving you more time for other things. There's $0 out of pocket on all major brands like Accu-Check and Walgreens TrueMetrics, and no extra paperwork. So managing diabetes becomes a stroll down Easy Street, or a trip to the movies, or even a day at the beach. Talk to your pharmacist today. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Zero out-of-pocket cost when billed to Medicare and full coverage supplemental insurance.
Non-dipping is a major risk factor for stroke, heart attack, and kidney disease. But studies show taking one or more of your prescribed blood pressure medications just before bedtime significantly decreases the risk. Of course, never change the timing of your medications without first consulting your doctor. For more, go to aarp.org.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply, subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
The digital space relative to how to make money and how to expand the business here and internationally on everybody's mind. Adam Shaw, former NFL Network and Fox Sports guy, and Pedro Duarte, former digital lead at Real Madrid, talks about how they take their expertise and develop digital opportunities with a company that is going to be successful both here and abroad. Here's Adam and here's Pedro.
Sports professor Rick Horrow. We're in the boardroom again with some diverse issues at the intersection of social media and teams and leagues. And very few people have tried to crack the code of monetizing and getting out ahead of what is inevitable with Facebook and all of the other companies aligning to the benefit of revenues in sports. Well,
Sportle attempts to do that right now with a groundbreaking deal with Real Madrid, etc. Rather than having me describe it, let's have co-founder Adam Shaw and the head of international Pedro Duarte, who've also been with the NFL and Real Madrid as part of their histories, explain it for us. Guys, how you doing?
Doing really well here. This is Adam Shaw. Great to be on with you, Rick. So yeah, we're a new company that's sole purpose is to make it really easy for sports fans to stream all the games that they want to see, and also help out the broadcasters in terms of finding the audience that wants to watch the amazing games that they're putting on digital platforms.
Describe the circumstances and the kind of atmospherics that are out there with social media and the intersection of, for example, the NFL and its TriCast with Twitter. Everybody knows that the old media companies are intersecting with the new ones at a point where you can't tell the difference anymore. And you guys are at the intersection. So before we get into your company's special formula, kind of describe the overall atmosphere that you find yourselves in.
So I think you're right. I think you had for a very long time a very steady ecosystem in the sports media world. You know, cable came along in the 70s and 80s and really added an entirely new layer of content. It used to be just the broadcast networks, and with cable, there was a huge spike in the availability of content to fans, and that was fantastic, and people got accustomed to that. And then over the last 10 years or so, there's been a migration of how people, especially young people, are consuming media. And there's an expectation that you can watch what you want on your laptop, on your phone, or on your tablet. And so sports media was fairly steady for a long time, and now clearly, if you look ahead a few years, there's going to be an expectation that if something's on, that you can access it where you are, when you are, where you want, when you want. So we want to help make that transition easier and bridge the gap, and that's really at the core competency of what we're doing, and we think it's a really big opportunity. In terms of in terms of some of the things we've done recently, we just signed a pretty innovative deal with AC Milan, and that's something that I think Pedro can shed a lot of light on, and it's particularly meaningful for us because his background is phenomenal in the world of football, or as that we here stateside call soccer.
And before we segue to Pedro, I understand that Real Madrid has done some deals, FC Barcelona has done some deals, a lot of big-time European powerhouses have. But as I understand it from the research, nobody has done an earth-shattering deal or a foundational deal such as this deal with AC Milan. So with that segue, why don't you go ahead and explain it?
Yeah, sure. That's completely correct. The beauty of this partnership is that it's going to allow AC Milan to approach in a more efficient way the U.S. audience that is over there, that is looking for consuming very interesting content. At the end, probably you know that soccer is growing very much in the States, so there is a huge appetite. And all the European soccer teams are trying to approach the potential clients in the States, but they don't know how to do that because at the end they are far. They are creating just very overall strategies around digital, and it's extremely difficult to try to approach in an efficient way the potential customers and maybe in the near future to sell them additional official services of the club. So what we are going to provide AC Milan is the possibility of targeting in the best possible way all the potential users that are looking forward to consume this kind of content. So this is the first partnership of this kind that the European, I would say not only soccer, but any European sports club signs in order to approach the U.S. audience. So we want to help this club to start identifying where are the viewers over there or in the States and increase all their CRM strategy and potentially start generating additional revenues in the States.
Adam Shaw, you were formerly with NFL Network, Fox Sports, and others, but yet co-founder of Sportle. What's so different about this? Why is this so unique?
So the opportunity here really is, while the actual games in a lot of the top leagues have been available on a number of the different sports networks for some time, what social media has really made available is to go deeper. And there's a lot of really interesting content that is being produced by the teams or their affiliated broadcast networks. That could be press conferences or in-depth stories about the players or the ability to see practices, or a number of the teams have B teams and C teams and junior teams. All of this is content that is really important to the teams, and we think is going to help create fandom stateside. So if you think about European soccer, there's a huge onswell of interest from U.S. sports fans. But if you said, who is the team, what is the European team that has the heart of the American sports fan? That hasn't been decided yet. So if you think about most leagues, there is some team that stands out above the others in terms of it's just got that bigger brand. And we think this is a really unique opportunity for those teams to capture that and to really be the team that the U.S. sports fan cares most about, because there's a huge opportunity in terms of merchandise sales, ticket sales, etc. And so we think there's a real opportunity for a broadly distributed application like ourselves that's going to pretty soon millions of sports fans to be able to take a team and really promote unique content around them. And some of the things that we're going to be able to do are very sophisticated notifications. So if somebody wants to know when the next AC Milan press conference is on, they'll get a notification on their phone saying, hey, click here to watch. So the making it that easy to consume the content, we think is going to go a long way towards marrying the team and the brand to the fans that are going to grow and learn to really love AC Milan.
Is the unique proposition here reaching the most avid fans and their sponsors, or is this for a more general sports fan as well? And part of that question is it for the American audience, the European audience, the worldwide audience, or a combination?
Well, initially, this is more focused to the U.S. audience because, as you know, Sportle.tv is initially customized and personalized for the U.S. geography. So what we are doing is to match the need of the clubs that is based on approaching the U.S. market with the appetite of the U.S. audience that exists, and they want to find content and they don't know how to find it. I mean, they should download a huge range of applications in order to follow AC Milan or Bayern Munich. So we centralize and we simplify how the users can get access to this content. But it's initially focused on the States. But this is a very interesting point, Rick, because this can be matched also with the idea of Sportle like an international site in which what we want to simplify is how the users can get access to content when they are flying from the U.S. to Spain or from the U.S. to United Kingdom. Our idea is to make this international, not only trying to include in the States content originally from Europe or from Asia, but also to simplify how the people from the U.S. can get access to NBA or NHL or NFL when they are flying to Europe and they don't want to miss the most important game. So there's an international point, the international part of this business that is very, very important for Sportle. But in the case of some these specific deals are more focused on the U.S. audience. So trying to move the business from Europe to U.S.
So an example would be if a team in Europe wanted to remind people that their championship match was about to start and they wanted to use social media, they probably have 30 or 40 different partners depending on what region of the world that is. And so to send out a tweet that has a link to 30 or 40 or 50 different streams isn't feasible. So we're developing a a link that will resolve, so they can send out, hey, our incredible match is about to start, with a single link, and where you are based in the world, it'll resolve to whoever is broadcasting the game in that particular territory. So we think that's very powerful and makes it really easy to create a communication channel that's as simple as can be between the team and all of their global fans.
So I guess my final question for you guys is maybe the hardest. Project with your crystal ball of what the vertically integrated, long-term, international media business looks like 5 years from now. Is it a traditional rights model? Does it include both over-the-top and all other forms of portable media itself? Are the rights more defined by the team and league, but are not just television rights anymore? What does this whole business look like generally?
One is that much in the way of when high def came along, and you actually had channels that were high def and others that were standard definition, you sort of knew at some point everything was going to be high def and the distinction was going to go away. I think the distinction between television rights and streaming rights are going to merge into one. Radio was a very different medium, and that lasted with the onset of television. I don't think that you're going to continue to see the same delineation. I think that 5 or 10 years from now, the video rights are going to be the video rights, and the only thing that's going to prevent that from transitioning sooner is that a lot of the existing rights are long-term deals that will keep a separation between how people are distributing those games. But I think it becomes a differentiation that doesn't bear very much relevance in 5 or 10 years, because the television screen is just going to be another screen, and most content is going to be delivered over internet, some sort of internet protocol. So that, I think, is coming. It's just a question of when that happens, and I think it's less of a technology circumstance and more of a rights issue.
Well, Adam and Pedro, you couldn't think of it any better than that, and the analogy of high def versus standard def is certainly a word to the wise relative to what the media looks like down the road. Rick Horrow, speak with you in a couple of minutes.
Interesting stuff, taking their company and expanding the digital space and trying to offer platforms for teams and leagues around North America and the world. Another example of how digital may be controlling the future. Rick Horrow, the sports professor, back with Bust, Boom, and Hope in just a couple of minutes.
We all know healthcare has changed drastically. It's quite the puzzle to sort through your options and find a health insurance plan that's affordable and maximizes your benefits. And you're now required by law to have health insurance, or you may pay a tax penalty. So let the Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. They offer plans from over 120 different companies and can even help you obtain government subsidies. Let them do all the research for you and show you how affordable health insurance can be, a service that's at no extra cost to you. Call now and learn your options to find affordable health insurance. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. Health Markets Insurance Agency is a DBA or assumed name of Insphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is a licensed insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service availability varies by state.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, hemorrhages and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
Fanatics.com is the place to get your favorite licensed college football fan gear. It's also the place to win the hottest bowl tickets for the season. Pull out your phone and Shazam this ad now for your chance to win an all-inclusive bowl game experience for two. Plus $250 to deck yourself out in officially licensed gear from Fanatics. Inside, you'll also find Fanatics merchandise, apps, and more. If you want to be on the sidelines of the biggest bowl games, Shazam now. If you're a sports fan and you love your team, you gotta check out Fanatics.com. Fanatics is the best place for fan gear from the most trusted brands. Authentic fan gear from the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA college football and basketball. Jerseys, hoodies, t-shirts, hats, collectibles, and more. It's the world's largest collection of official fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Everything officially licensed. Go to Fanatics.com for gear and show love for your teams this season. Fanatics. Love never loses.
Rick Horrow, sports professor, Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously. Tim Hayden talking about Stadia Ventures, incubator, startup, the business, and how you get going in it. And Adam Shaw and Pedro Duarte as far as digital expansion in the space. Now, bust, boom, and hope. The bad, the good, and the hopeful in the economy. First, bust. Brexit going to affect more than just the British and European economies. Premier League academies already preparing for the backlash. According to the London Independent, life after Brexit going to look a lot different for EPL academies. Historically been allowed to sign 16-year-olds from Europe under FIFA's Article 19. Had this article not been in place, the league's top clubs would have been allowed to sign a player until he turns 18, which is why they're all preparing for it now. And going forward, the competitive balance of European soccer should level out if Brexit proves as tough as many expect. Next, boom. Well, bottom line is the MLB, Rob Manfred, finally placed a vague time frame for a new ballpark in Oakland for the A's, according to San Francisco Chronicle. While the Raiders are largely looking to leave the Bay Area, the A's are trying to find a new home within the area. The search for a new stadium began 11 years ago, but now Manfred hopes to have a plan a year from now. I hope within the next year we'll have a good idea about how the project's going to proceed. We'll stay engaged with the A's and will not have somebody here full-time on the ground. The A's project is a project that will involve very substantial commitment from everybody, including ownership. Team's first choice to rebuild a stadium on the site of the Coliseum, but also looking somewhere else. And so that's bust, that's boom. And what about hope? Well, the hope is for Rutgers University to get better. They're still receiving money from the Big Ten. A 78-0 loss to Michigan the other week. Currently stands Rutgers earning about $10 million in annual conference revenue. And by contrast, had RU stayed in the AAC, it would claim just a few $1 million a year in conference revenue. Clearly, the hope is they'll continue to get better, even though today they've got a long way to go. I'd like to thank Tim Hayden, Adam Shaw, Pedro Duarte, and all of you for listening as we continue to go down the road of the Championship Series, NFL, NBA starting, NHL Week 2. Join us next week when we go Beyond the Scoreboard.